What's up, everybody? This is Sam with Not Another Film Review. Me and the crew just got back from seeing Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. This is the newest Marvel cinematic piece directed by Sam Raimi, starring Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange, Elizabeth Olsen as the Scarlet Witch. Just letting y'all know we're getting to heavy spoilers, this is full spoiler review, so if you haven't watched it yet, go see it, get back to us. This was an action packed, eventful one, so
Let's get into it.
what was our first reactions to this movie?
I liked it a lot. I mean, I thought it was a lot of fun. Uh, it's very fast paced. It's straight up all gas, no break. It's really fun. I don't think I would put it above the first Doctor Strange. I just enjoyed that story a little bit more, but I still had a great time with it.
I liked it, but I just felt a little betrayed by the trailer. I thought this was gonna be more of like Doctor Strange, like all of the stuff he's messed up come to bite him. But really, like wasn't his fault.
Mm-hmm.
They brought in new characters and went in different directions with other characters. So like when I was watching it, I was like, this is not what I was expecting. So I liked it, but it just wasn't what I was expecting. So,
What about you, Ollie?
I think my emphasis on this movie was definitely about the shots and then the cool kind of dark elements to it. I really like that. In terms of the story, I would definitely say that it was just kind of like a basic sort of story. It wasn't like it seems like it would be important, but to me it wasn't as important as like the cool stuff that was happening. So Multiverse of Madness, that's what it was. It was kind of like an all over the place madness sort of film, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed this movie, honestly, for the most part. I do see where you're coming from, Doobie. I thought I thought it was playing off of Spider-Man No Way Home and had to deal with the spell that he casted into there.
yeah, that was my main thing.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be him fixing that and whatnot. I knew Scarlet Witch was in it. I didn't know that she was the antagonist or, one of the main causes of all this. But I really did enjoy the movie, and I honestly was able to follow the story throughout the madness of it. I was able to follow it and keep track of it, so it kind of, I enjoyed all the action. Like you said, it was all gas, no brakes, but I was able to coast with that.
I think my biggest, issue with it is that it felt more of Wanda's story featuring Doctor Strange,
Yep.
which I didn't mind. She is a complete savage. She is wrecking anything and everyone that gets in her way, and I loved every scene that she was in. I honestly wish it was more of her. That was the best parts of the movie to me.
Yeah, and I think that she deserves, and her power deserves, more display on the big screen.
Mm-hmm.
Right, that was one of my biggest things that I didn't like about the movie was she was killing it. Like when I saw Wanda, I'm like, oh shoot, you're gonna see something crazy, and then it goes to Doctor Strange, and it's like some of the scenes he was in, it was a slower pace.
Yeah, it kind of takes you
Yeah.
out of it.
I hate when they do that with characters when it's like, okay, this is his movie, but then he got overshadowed in his own movie. So Wanda's gotta chill out, bro.
Yeah.
I wish they'd give more to the fact that the people imagine you're an Avenger, right? And you're with your friends and you're with people you would die with and stuff, and then all of a sudden you're just mortal enemies and fighting.
Yeah.
They don't give enough to mesh. You would be, I guess, basically, if you were a hero and you had to fight again, there would be a lot of thought that goes into that. You'd feel bad about having to, battle this person, and there wasn't any of that. As soon as the fighting happened, it was oh, they're enemies now.
Yeah,
You know?
so. I
I think with that, looking at the other movies, I don't even think they really had much interaction with each other before this movie. So it's
Yeah.
like I don't even know if they were really like like he just knew who she was. Just like he knew that she was an Avenger, so he's like, she's the only person that I know that could probably help with this. So I think that's pretty much how it was. Like this is like the first time really like interacting.
Yeah, fair enough. And I think to go off of your point, Ollie, with like how conflict and animosity was so sudden, I think, if I'm not mistaken, her resentment and all and her despair was built up through the WandaVision series, like her love for her children and her desire for like her family and a normal life. I think that's what was built up during WandaVision, and this was like she was at her like max, and like she probably already was like planning this to use the Darkhold and the the multiverse jumping and all.
And the fact she was sending those monsters after the girl the whole time, right?
Yeah.
So she knew right away. I didn't realize that when I was watching.
Not to put a wrench in this, but I'm pretty sure it's because like the book was like poisoned her mind, and that's the whole reason why they didn't want Doctor Strange. Is like, you don't understand, like once you go, it's like the dark side.
Yeah.
Once you go down the dark path, you can't return. So I think I'm pretty sure like she was kind of like a prisoner. Like she wasn't really all there. It wasn't really her doing it because she was so poisoned by the book.
Yeah, it's probably like the dark energies that caused her to be so like eager to do that. Also, I think I didn't feel through like the Avengers and other Marvel movies that she connected.
She was more of an outcast.
Exactly. And like after her brother died and all too, like she definitely held some sort of resentment towards like the earthly spirit of Avengers and all. So I think, you put it perfect. Like she was an outcast.
What happened to her accent?
I don't know.
That whole time I was thinking, wait, isn't she like this Russian sort of like
Sokovian?
Sokovian. Sorry.
Yeah, didn't it like go in and out between like Age of Ultron and like Endgame as well?
Yeah, I read a theory like maybe a couple months ago or back when like WandaVision came out that like she had it and like she kept losing more people that she loved, so it's like she was trying to remove herself from like that version of her as much as possible.
Yeah.
Well, in WandaVision, they actually did address that. Like, I want to say, like, in her perfect little world, she loses the accent, but when she's really being herself, the accent is super thick because she grew up watching, like, American sitcoms, so, like, she wanted to fit in with, like, America perfect lifestyle.
The American dream.
Yeah, so, like, whenever she, like, snaps and just goes into her real self, that's when the accent is, like, super hard.
Yeah.
I wish they kind of made that more prevalent when she turned into Scarlet Witch. Like, I wish when you could see, like, the snap into, like, the real intense Scarlet Witch, that real, like, heavy Slovakian accent came out. That would have been kind of a cool thing for them to add. This was obviously, like, a Marvel movie and a superhero movie. Obviously went in a lot of different directions, but I feel like we kind of got a different taste with Sam Raimi directing it. A lot of horror shots and like jump scares popped up, and I have not seen that really in any other Marvel movies at all.
I thought it was well done. I thought that like it reminded me a lot of like those 80s tropes of horror, like everything that he did with Evil Dead, but like he added like such a cool like creative twist on some scenes where it's like, oh shit, like it actually kind of scared me a little bit. Like whenever they were running at the like in the tunnel under the river, and like they had like that whole scene and she just like kind of just like popped like out of nowhere with the red eye. Like I don't know, it was just cool.
And she didn't come through the blast.
Yeah, that's
just building it up.
The whole chase, like she's like limping, I guess, because she hurt her leg, and she's like walking barefoot in glass, and she's got. I thought it was blood at first, but it's like the oil from the machines, from the Iron Man machine, all of. I was like, oh,
I thought it was it wasn't like the jump scare, but when she first came into like the sacred building,
the Illuminati.
No, the one on Earth.
Oh, the Sanctum.
The Sanctum. They
Camartage.
When she came through the gong, she was like. Contorted and all.
That was
I mean, that was like straight out like the Ring. And Yeah, that was like one that was like, oh, that's like disturbing. Obviously not a
Mhm.
jump scare, but like,
Yeah. Well, with the
very-
bones cracking and her
Yeah.
body
Yeah.
was twisted, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
they're turning up or
Between
not.
that
That's
and
one-
like the tension of like her just chasing people, like coming through the puddles, and then like later on, like just breaking through everything, like the tension building just from her. Like I was scared of her.
Mm.
So I mean, what'd y'all think of some of these cameos? To me, I was slightly disappointed. I just thought like there was gonna be a lot more. I guess just I watched too much YouTube leading up to it. I just thought this was gonna be like cameo after cameo.
Down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, pretty much. But
Fonzie's on Twitter
Yeah.
searching hashtag Doctor Strange.
Fonzie will
spoilers.
tell me, I'll ask a question, I literally don't know the answer. Fonzie will be like, you don't know this shit?
Someone else told me.
Yeah.
You're like, bro, this is like the third level of the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
no.
I already know, bro. The internet's gonna go wild. I haven't clicked on any videos yet, but I know people were expecting to see Iron Man.
Yeah, I was expecting Tom Cruise as Iron Man.
Yeah, everyone was talking about it, and when
Wait,
they
did you say Tom Cruise is Iron
So
Man?
yeah, Tom Cruise was like it came down between him and Robert Downey Jr.
Uh-huh.
And so since
Oh,
RDJ dies,
different.
yeah,
okay.
it's a variant of Tony Stark, and
Yeah.
it would have been Tom
Yeah.
Cruise,
I mean,
just
I-
like fan
I
service.
would have appreciated that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did
The
you
fans know more than
I-
the fans like try to twist it into something
Yeah.
like it's wild.
Isn't that crazy that there's
Yeah,
like so
man.
many? I mean, it has to.
so much information? man.
Yeah, and there's so.
Mhm.
I mean, so many like, ideas from fans and things that reviewers and all think of that you're like, oh, like why didn't they do that?
Yeah.
But I mean,
How could they do everything?
exactly. Yeah. Did you like? What did you think of the cameos?
Dude, I guess I feel like I'm not as knowledgeable, but it threw me off that Professor X was in there, man. I'm not gonna lie. Patrick Stewart's Professor X.
Yeah,
I just
it's like they're trying to force mutants a little bit.
and he was like the leader too,
Yeah.
So it's just like
It was it felt like too much, and it's like,
yeah.
I don't know if it's just because we're in like the 26th MCU movie now that it's just like, I'm confused at like where they're trying to go with Phase 4 right now. Like, I don't know what they're building up with all these like Easter eggs and cameo scenes. Like, obviously, like they now own X-Men and Fantastic
Yeah,
Four, so it's
right.
like naturally they're gonna do it, but it's just like,
Yeah.
I'm kind of lost with like where they're going now.
I think, dude, the blueprint for movies like this is have a pretty badass villain, somebody we haven't seen yet that's pretty obscure,
Mhm.
and just go with that. Follow it too, because like I know people get tired of seeing it, but if they're really trying to go for like what sells the most, why wouldn't they go with the typical like big villain and then everybody versus? But I have no clue where they're going with any of this.
Yeah.
I watched when we were in there and we watched the trailer for the Thor movie. I was like, "What is going on
Yeah.
in this, dude?
Mhm.
Right, it's starting
It's
to
gonna be
feel-
a comedy again."
Yeah, I think
Like,
so.
This movie was definitely felt like it was just its own movie because
Yeah.
you know how it's supposed to play into the next movie, but it's like they literally left us like on
Yeah,
a
they just
cliffhanger.
teased like the next Doctor Strange kind of.
Yeah.
That's it.
Fair enough. That's a good point about like, especially with Patrick Stewart and all. I appreciated it because at first, I was like, oh, like they really went there. They really
Mhm.
did that. I can see though now that y'all say something, it was a very ambiguous reveal entry, kind of like you said, like
He was in the
what's the
trailer.
next,
Yeah.
either you're gonna do it all out or not, or you're getting ready to
Mhm.
introduce something. Incorporating like X-Men and all that seems like it would be like a Phase 5
Probably,
kind of thing.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
so
I kind of like that in Logan. They just kind of like ended the X-Men.
exactly.
That's what I loved
Yeah.
about it
Yeah.
because it makes you like miss the character, and then all of a sudden you just show him again. It's like, but dude, I understand it's a
Yeah.
multiverse, but just let him rest, man.
Yeah.
Let him rest for a little bit,
Did we
Yeah.
mention Mr. Fantastic?
Yeah,
yet?
I was about to
Yeah.
bring it up. What did y'all think of Jonathan?
I was very
Yeah.
surprised because I heard he was like, "No, I'm not doing it."
I could tell that like he wasn't the original person. Like when they shot it, like I could tell that all of his scenes were from a reshoot. Like I don't know if y'all noticed that like kind of the lighting on his face was a little different. Like it looked like he was CGI'd like around his body.
I did notice, like around. I kept
Yeah.
noticing that around his body. I was like,
Mhm.
it looks
And when they did the
sick.
wide shots, like all the Illuminati, like you could just tell that like he was separate from it. So I'm curious as to who the original person was, but I don't know, that it just kind of took me out of it a little bit.
And I don't know if I have this theory right, but I'm pretty sure because I was thinking about just the way they did it. When Professor X rolls in, he's in the yellow chair from the cartoon. They literally played the theme as he rolls up.
The 97 theme.
So I think he really is from that universe. He's the cartoon,
Yeah.
and they killed him.
Oh, yeah.
Like Wanda,
Yeah.
Wanda snaps his neck.
Yeah, I will say that was a
Snap
badass
that
scene to
neck.
me. She just
Yeah, going back to those deaths,
She
like
ages,
she like straight up murdered like all of them, like
Yeah, it was
severely murdered them.
old
Yeah.
boys had a stroke or something.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sliced in half.
Oh yeah,
dude. Yeah.
Also,
What's his
weird,
name?
like,
Bolt.
superhero.
yeah, like Black Bolt. I think he's from Inhumans.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Don't know that one.
But even when normal universe Doctor Strange,
Mhm.
like through or whatever, the other Doctor Strange who was held the Darkhold, when he flew out the window and landed on the stake and
Oh yeah,
everything,
like, all the deaths were violent.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like I've never seen the jump scares, the horror, or these kind of deaths like out in the
Mhm.
open, very gruesome
Mhm.
from a Marvel movie at all.
Yeah. Besides Deadpool, which is just
Yeah.
gruesome because it's like
That's
It's fun.
element
yeah,
of the movie,
exactly,
yeah,
but
yeah.
not like horror
Yeah,
element.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
at
this
all.
one was like, hey, we're taking you down here.
Yeah.
You know, like we're showing you, yeah.
Going,
Well, something I was disappointed in. You mentioned the other Doctor Strange. I was hoping to see a whole lot of Doctor Strange because
yeah,
new variants of him and stuff. So that just plays in more to how I feel he was so overshadowed by.
it's like we really just got
Yeah.
the one at the end, like for an extended amount of time.
I kind of feel bad for the America Gomez or whatever her name was.
America Chavez?
Chavez, yeah. They just didn't really give her a chance to act at all.
She was really just
you know?
there to access the multiverse. Like she
Yeah.
didn't really do much. Like she was part of like the MacGuffin that they were trying to get like that in the book.
Yeah.
Mm.
It was just how can we get her? Or how can we protect her?
Yeah,
and,
they
like,
try
that's
to get you tied into her by showing like her past and what happened with her and her family, and it just doesn't allow for you to connect to her. I didn't feel connected to
I
her.
think
at all.
it has to do with it being like so fast paced
Yeah.
too. Because
Right,
like you don't have
right.
time to like, all right, take a breath. Like let me actually like have some small character moment to where it's like, all right, now I really care about her.
Who is this person? Well, she took up a large amount of screen time. Like,
Yeah,
She
definitely
was-
so.
She was, she was almost on the screen just as much as Doctor Strange
Yeah.
was, and
Yeah.
like very little, no background story
Yeah.
as to how she got those powers or why. No way to connect. So I didn't like that.
Going back into the other Doctor Strange, like the evil one at the end.
Mhm.
I don't know about y'all, but that music fight with
I-
the music
yeah,
notes
I didn't.
took me completely out of the movie. I thought it was horrible. I was like,
Yeah,
this is like bottom tier Marvel like fight
Dude,
scene.
the
like,
whole theater, I feel like I
You
think
could
they felt
sense it?
Yeah, I sensed it in the theater. Like everyone in the theater was just like,
yeah, I was like, what
How
is
long
happening?
this gonna
Like,
last?
yeah.
That was like the low
Cringe.
point. Yeah,
Yeah.
that
I
was.
was like,
I
Cringe
was
is
like,
the
I-
perfect word for it.
Yeah, I
I-
think they went for the idea that it would be cool, but the music notes just threw me off. Like if they had that style of fight with like an alternate thing of like
Mhm.
what was going on with the fighting, but it was just so random. There's not real music during that entire there's music, but there's not like that droning dark organ or
Yeah.
something where it would
Mhm.
make sense.
It was
you
just like a
know?
normal
Like,
piano.
Yeah,
like,
it was
notes.
just-
yeah.
It
was
just
like-
happened out of nowhere.
It was like a director, executive's like family member composed a piece and was
Yeah.
like, "Hey, can you?"
Wouldn't
put
it
this
make
in the
more
movie?"
sense if the evil Doctor Strange, like at the beginning of the scene, was like
Playing the
composing or like
instruments, yeah.
doing like an
Yeah.
instrument?
Yeah.
Then, if they did the fight scene, then it would make sense. But
Mhm.
because it was so random, and there was a random dude, that last note heart, dude.
yeah. Well, so Correct me if I'm
a
wrong.
grenade. Like, what?
Do y'all agree? Like it wasn't too bad. Like him using the notes as weapons. It was the music that made it cringe. How they incorporated
Yeah.
music.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it was forced.
I think it was a little bit of both. Which is beat.
So what rating are we giving this overall?
I was super hyped to see this. I thought it was gonna be extra buttery, but just for the simple fact that I feel like I was betrayed by the trailers, I'm gonna go with original. I didn't necessarily hate it. I just was expecting more Doctor Strange, but instead I got more Wanda.
Yeah, I have to agree. I would give it an original. As far as like what you said, like story and being kind of misled with the trailers, thinking that it would be more Doctor Strange versus Doctor Strange. But as far as like the style and like cinematography and like some of the visual effects, I would give that a buttery. But overall, original.
I think I'm gonna go out on a limb and be true to myself. I'll give this a buttery right at the end of the movie. I thought so. I enjoyed it. Talking with y'all, definitely saw a lot more plot holes and everything, but I'd give this one a buttery.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go original. As much as I want to give it buttery because I like horror aspects of films and darkness and all that, I think that was buttery. But just because of the story, I have to give it original.
Yeah.
So that's our review, y'all. Let us know what you think of the movie. Go see it. Get back with us. See if you see the same things as us. And in the meantime, like, comment, subscribe. It would mean the most. And stay tuned for the next movie. Thank y'all. That was a
Snap
badass
that
scene to
neck.
me. She just